This Kate Moss story is just not going away, is it? I mean, the headlines just keep coming and coming. She's now been dropped by, I think, at least 4 brands, with the others reviewing. She's being investigated by the police, and according to the Daily Mail, I'm not sure this is entirely backed up, but the social services are declaring an interest as to whether or not, you know, her child is in the safest hands. So every single part of her life has just fallen around her shoulders, hasn't it? At this stage, do you feel sorry for her? I know we've discussed it earlier in the week, but you read these headlines today, do you feel sorry for her?
Yeah, I feel sorry for her because of the example that she's been made of. You know what I mean? I just feel everyone's got on the moral ground. We all know it's out there, and we all know that, you know, there's a lot of people that do it. Okay. But I feel sorry for her in that respect.
Kim?
No, I don't feel sorry for her, really. I think we've all got a choice in life. We all have choices to make, and she made that choice. She's an adult. She knew what she was getting herself into, and you pay the consequence.
Jane?
No, I don't feel sorry for her because she's still got an awful lot going for her. She's still an extremely beautiful lady, and she'll bounce back, I'm sure she will. I hope she gets herself sorted out. You know, I really, really do. We wish her well, but I don't feel sorry for her. I just hope she gets herself sorted.
Well, yeah, I think I do feel sorry for her, but I mean, like you, I actually think it might be the best thing that's ever happened to her, because maybe you need a dreadful fall like this. She's not exactly going to be in her uppers, is she? She's got loads of cash, and I suspect she'll spend a wee while in the wilderness and then come right back. But anyway, we're going to discuss this a bit after the break. We've got to go. Jane's concentration span's not that good. You know what I mean. Join us in a few minutes when we'll be talking more about drugs and getting soulful with singer Misha Paris. Back soon. Welcome back to Thursday Blues Women. In just a few moments, a woman with soul will be joining us. I'll make a change. Soul singer Misha Paris on her brand new album Soul Classics. And she's a leg end, Sue Pollard on Women's Bits and Bobs. And we've got more fantastic music coming up in the show soon. Take a look. Oh, don't take a look then. Be like that. Honestly, you try and entertain people and they just blank you. Oh, look at it now then. OK, go on.
Oh.
You finished? Oh, that was seamless, that. Did you see it? No. Right, we're talking about Kate Moss. Kim, you absolutely do not feel sorry for her in any way, despite the fact that her life has fallen about her ears.
No.
Would you feel any more sorry for her if she declared herself, and obviously I'm not saying that she is an addict, but if she declared herself to be an addict and said, look, I have made a terrible mistake, you know, basically repented, because I think that's what people are looking for now.
I don't think I would, really, because she's not always been an addict. There's got to have been a time where she's gone, OK, I'm going to do that, or whatever, you know. If she was an addict, I'm not saying she is, but if she were.
Sure.
Then there's got to be a time where addicts do turn round and say, you know, this is my choice. I am going to start taking drugs, because, like I say, you're not born.
So you think that everyone has got the power to walk away, to make that decision and say, I'm not going to do this, and given that she didn't do that, then she deserves all that's coming to her?
Well, you know, the thing is that I've been in the job that I've been in and stuff, and being around a lot of parties and everything else, and you see a lot of things like that. There are a lot of, you know, times where I've seen people taking drugs. I've actually been offered drugs. You know, I'm an adult. I know what that's going to do to me. I say no. It's as simple as that. And for me, addiction has to start somewhere. And if she were to be an addict, I just think that, you know, there has to be a time.
Is your view hardened by the fact that she appeared to have it all? I mean, that she has the look, she's clearly very rich now and, you know, leads a gilded life that many people would envy. Does that make it even worse, do you think? Or do you have no sympathy for any addict, whether they're Kate Moss or the guy on the street? Jane?
I look at what's going on in our, you know, society today, and the people I feel sorry for are certainly not the addicts. It's the old woman that's been beaten up and who is petrified to go out at night now because we've got so many addicts on the street corners. That's the people. We always think about the people who are taking the drugs now and not the victims who are left behind, because I think it must be awful for the families of addicts as well. And like Kim says, I tend to agree with Kim. You have got a choice. I'm in the same industry as a lot of us are, and we say no. We just say no to them.
Yeah, but I mean, you look back and you can. I would imagine, would look back and think that perhaps she's made some bad choices. Maybe not. Maybe she enjoys it. I mean, there are people who do, and you have to accept that too. But I think the first time you do that thing that you shouldn't do, whether it's sleep with somebody else's husband or drink and drive, as many people have, and thank goodness not getting scared, or anything you know that is not wrong, you're not making a decision for the rest of your life. You're making a decision for that moment, and those moments build up and build up and build up, and then they become a pattern. I don't think you're necessarily talking about people who are willfully throwing it away.
Yeah, and I think at some stage maybe she just, you know, as people do on drugs, that when they first start, they feel totally in control. I can stop this tomorrow, you know, and then you realise all of a sudden you're in a situation where actually no, I can't. I mean, you've absolutely, you know, you were saying earlier, you've no sympathy at all for addicts of any kind.
I know that sounds very hard.
No, it's not. I agree with you. I've no sympathy for the addicts that get so low that they would beat an old lady up for £5 or £10, you know, and I think we should feel sorry for her. But in Kate Moss's case, I feel sorry for her because of the example she's been made, and because everybody seems to be, oh, have you heard? She's lost Chanel now. It's like we're all delighted. Her whole life's ruined.
Yeah, but
really. And I know
there's a
it's
key
her
thing
choice.
there that, but I mean, the druggie on the street, if you like, gets into crime because they have no money. The fact is that Kate Moss has got more money than she knows what to do with. I mean, I don't know who wrote it, said that cocaine was invented, you know, God invented cocaine for people who had more money than sense. I mean, the fact is she hasn't been forced into criminal activity because she has got enough money to finance that habit. So, in effect, she is absolutely no different from the person on the street, except that person is forced to extreme measures. And I think the other thing, which I think will be interesting to see how it evolves, you're right that Kate Moss seems to have been the sort of sacrificial lamb, doesn't she? But how are the police going to respond to this? If they are saying, OK, the music business is rife, the fashion business is rife, let them get into London Fashion Week. Let them be standing plainclothes policemen in the loos or whatever. If they think that that is a major source of illegal activity, which it is, then they've got to go and sort it out and not just think, we'll sort out Kate Moss and that's us done our duty.
Exactly.
So let's see what they do now. I said earlier, be afraid, be very afraid. Let's bring on our first guest, find out what she's got to say on this. She stormed the charts when she was still in her teens with her debut album, So Good, and is undoubtedly one of Britain's best-loved soul singers. Please welcome Misha Paris. Now, we're going to talk about your album, but can we drag you into our discussion just a little bit there?
Oh, no. Yeah, you can.
Do you have sympathy with drug addicts? Or do you think
Well, you know, I think that everyone's judgmental and everyone's throwing stones at everyone, and I think that that's really unfair because I think that drugs is you could say drugs, but it's not drugs. It's always an emotional problem. There is something wrong emotionally with the person for them to want to escape in the first place. So you have to go to the root of the problem, what makes people go and take drugs in the first place. It's very easy for everyone to say, you know, he's been bad or she's been bad or whatever, but you have to look at the reasons behind it.
It's very difficult for people when they look at someone like Kate Moss. And you don't, just because you're rich doesn't mean that you're happy.
Yeah,
and, I
just
mean,
because
that's
you're rich
true.
doesn't mean you haven't got emotional problems. It
No.
doesn't mean you know.
But having said that, for the general public, it's very difficult to look at her and feel sympathy. Is that right, Jane?
Well, yeah, because a lot of people have got emotional problems, but they don't turn to drugs and whatever, you know, they sort them out.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is that sometimes we're so quick to pass judgment on people and we're not looking at the issues behind the reasons why they do things. And it's easy to do that, isn't it? It's so easy to say you're bad and you're bad and you're bad, but what are the reasons behind it? I think we should be a bit more compassionate. I think that everyone loves to see people fall.
I think that's
And
what
I
I'm
hate
trying
that.
to say.
I
It's like we're all taking enjoyment out of it.
I don't like. I'd love to see people
you know,
succeed.
I just think that it's a real media thing where you do really well and they're just waiting for that mistake and everyone jumps on you, you know.
I agree, but then having said that, you cannot ignore the fact, and, you know, I think it actually might be the best thing that's ever happened to her, as
I think so too. I actually agree with you with that. I think that I'm just talking about the reasons why people do drugs in the first place. It's usually because they have a lot of emotional problems and there's a lot of issues there. But I think this is the best thing that could have happened to her because now you have to have a crash before you can realise that what you're doing is probably not working.
Yeah.
And she needed that crash. And, you know, this will be enough, hopefully, to shake her up and say, I need to get my act together.
Yeah,
Do you know?
I just hope it doesn't work the other way, though.
As in...
Well, because she will
Whether
feel
it brings her
vulnerable,
down
or
even
whether it
further.
brings her down even further.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
have to
see.
wait and see.
Fingers crossed not. Anyway, listen, I say we are here to talk about your new
Really?
album. So here we are. Soul Classics. There it is. And not only that, we're going to talk about it, we're going to see a wee bit.
Oh, really?
And hear it. Here we go. Some great ones on here. What Becomes of Broken Hearted,
Yeah.
Walk Away from Love, Amazing Grace. So what made you choose all the classics?
I chose all those songs because they reminded me of my childhood when I was growing up. And every song, there's a story behind it. Like